All right. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I shouldn't have said that. For any of you who have watched the retired grinder versus antisocial open mic hater, I think I want to critique my own video here because as much as I wasn't wrong with what I did, I feel like Mr. Chrome could have handled this better. So I'm going to watch some of the parts of my video. I've fast forward to the point where I start interacting with this individual. But in the background, I'm going to be doing my own commentary on it because I've realized this could have gone better. So let's watch and observe this. It really is. So now I gotta go get that freaking Pegasus again. Normally I wouldn't have to go get Pegasus again. This is actually why I want to right now. Right on cue. Someone's angry that I'm talking. Mute yourself, buddy. You don't need to listen to me if you turn on your speakers. So I'm just going to say right now from the get-go, I should have said, I apologize for offending you, and done what he said. But I didn't. I let it escalate. I didn't have to let it escalate, but I did. I wasn't even in the wrong. There was no reason he couldn't have done the same thing. But he didn't feel the need to. What I should have done, though, was been the better person and simply done what he wanted me to do. Because I wasn't talking to anybody. It wasn't going to take any time out of what I was doing to do the push to talk, as a lot of GTA players call it. But I didn't. Let's continue. Be smarter than me. Turn off your speakers and don't be offended by everything better than you. I don't like the way I said that. I didn't need to say I was better than him. I didn't need to imply that I was condescending towards him. What I should have said in place of that was don't get offended over someone that's doing something differently than you would do. That's all I needed to say. And furthermore, I'm not better than him. I was a little bit high strung because I don't like it when people tell me, well, you shouldn't do this because I find it annoying. Well, I'm going to move on from that because the only thing I should have done was simply have said, don't get offended over somebody doing something differently than you. That's all I needed to say. Let's continue. Like you making so much money and then bragging about it. I wasn't bragging about my money. What's your problem? Yeah, that's what I thought. Just go quiet. I was talking to him, not my chat. Your turn to Pegasus license. Cargo bomb jets. Great. Well, whoever was talking earlier is not on quiet. He thought I came on and said, shut up. Maybe you should go to bed early, buddy. Don't you have school in the morning? So by me saying that, he ends up accusing me of being condescending. I was not being condescending, I was being honest. And I will show you what he was trying to point out in a couple seconds here. This all happens within just one scene. The rest of it is me just trying to escape this guy. But there's one main part, which is right about here. It's only a few minutes longer where we have an actual argument about what I'm doing and why he doesn't like it. You told me to shut up. I'm trying to figure out why. Because you're talking to nobody. You're talking to yourself. I'm talking to you now. What's your problem? So I find this part kind of particularly funny because I was literally talking to him when he was like, you're only talking to yourself. You're not talking to anybody, so shut the F up. I was actually talking to him as soon as he started responding to me. And I just found it funny how he just kept on saying, stop talking to yourself, even though we were physically having a conversation on this game. So was I talking to myself or was he talking to me? Was I talking to the guy that was responding to me? I want your advice on that. What's your feedback on that? Your thoughts and feelings on if I was talking to this guy or if I was just talking to myself. You don't got a problem, so
Stay out of it. You always come on GTA to talk to yourself? No, I'm actually filming a video right now. Do you always interrupt people who are making videos?
So when he came on and said, "Do you always talk to yourself on games?" and I backfired with, "Do you always interrupt people that are filming videos?" I was going more along the lines of the generalization of, do you always interrupt people who are participating in a hobby, or does your hobby matter more than theirs? I was genuinely offended by that. I didn't see why he needed to just simply come in and start interrupting my stuff. So this next part is where he brings up the condescending part, and this is the main thing I wanted to cover on this video.
So, is that a yes or a no? Don't you have school in the morning? All right. He's just going to keep interrupting me when I start talking again, so I'm going to try to make the best of this.
Go, Mr. Chrome.
One of my viewers has said, OMG, this is gold. Maybe this is gold, maybe it's not. I don't know why people get so offended or get so annoyed when someone else talks in their session. That's what GT is all about. Interaction. What?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I thought I said more after that. So I don't think this kid was offended. I just don't think he wanted to listen to anyone else but himself. And even he's probably thinking, I don't even listen to myself talk. I think I'm stupid to talk. I don't know. I need to stop saying that. The point is, when he said push to talk, I am genuinely curious. How do you guys feel about people that use an open mic? Because there's quite a few people that don't care for it, but then there's a lot of people who refuse to turn off or mute people that are using push to talk, or not using push to talk. They're using open mic, and a lot of people don't like it. So I'm really curious how you guys feel about people who use open mic versus the people who use push to talk. I personally use a controller. I can't just go push my keyboard and hold it down. I don't see a point in holding it down just to talk to someone. I mean, for the most part, I'm actually usually in a Discord. I'm surprised this kid wasn't in a Discord somewhere just ignoring the game chat. It's pretty easy to do that. So, once again, I do not feel I was in the wrong. I'm simply pointing out some things that I could have done differently to make this more peaceful. I could have done push to talk. I should have done push to talk, but I didn't. Let's keep going.
I don't know if this kid is just talking to someone else or what, but I can't hear him anymore. That's I'll pay for it. Mercy. What happens if no one says the end of it? Absolutely nothing.
That is completely false. I shouldn't have said that, flat out. I could have avoided all this if I had just simply muted myself and recorded my video as I wanted to do it. But I had to fight back, and when this kid said, "What happens if I say the N-word on your stream or your video?" Bad things would have happened if I was a bigger channel. That word would have gotten me in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble, especially with today's society. What I should have said was, please don't say that word. I would really appreciate if you didn't. And in any case, I probably would have said, you know what? If you're going to do that, I'm simply going to mute myself. Problem solved right there. But I didn't. I kept on escalating. Mr. Chrome did a lot of bad things in this video. He shouldn't have, but he did.
Here's my question. What happens to you if you suddenly meet someone in public that you never actually talked to?
That was a genuine question. I personally felt like this kid didn't know how to interact in public, and quite frankly, there's quite a few people that are younger than me, especially the pre-20-year-old kids. They don't know how to interact with others. So when he's sitting here criticizing me, I am honestly curious how he talks to people in public, or if he even does. And if he does, how does he interact with people when they're asking him general questions? Or if he has to listen over someone else's conversation that he doesn't want to listen to. This was a genuine question. I was not being condescending here.
You know, like when you go to school, like when you go to school and you actually have to talk to a teacher in public.
Why did you talk about school?
Because you have school in the morning.
I really don't, my friend.
You act like you do.
That is the most retarded insult I've ever heard.
I'm not insulting you. I'm literally saying you sound like you have school.
Oh, dude, you're like, oh, you felt like at school in the morning. You're trying to sound condescending.
No, I was not. This is the point that I wanted to point out. In the video, when he accused me of being condescending, I was not being condescending. I was genuinely being serious. I thought he had school in the morning because of the way he was acting. People who graduate, and for the most part, people who just want to enjoy life, they're nothing like this kid. He got so annoyed that I couldn't just use push to talk, and he had to keep going. He couldn't have corrected it himself. I didn't correct it myself. I could have, but I was not being condescending. The things he was saying, I genuinely wondered if he just needed to go back to school and continue to learn how to act like a normal person, a normal citizen, someone who just ignores it and keeps going. He had to keep going. He had to keep calling me out. People that do that aren't very mature. That's just what I've observed, though. Call me out on it if you wish. But I personally think this kid was way more mature and could have just he could have just solved his own problem by muting me in the first place. He didn't even need to listen to me, but he had to keep his speakers on. Both could have gone both ways. But in the end, I digress. Mr. Chrome could have done the right thing in the very beginning of this video.
Approached me and said, "What are you talking about? You've done nothing but insult me this whole
Shut the
time."
fuck up. You're talking to yourself in a GTA law.
No.
There we go. He said, shut the F up. He does it another couple of times and claims he never did. But I did nothing wrong to this kid the whole time. He is super annoyed, super angry at me for no reason, and he wouldn't give me a reason why he needed to be so rude towards me. This is why I still think I was in the right. I did nothing wrong the whole time, and this is how he treats me.
Why do you talk to? No one wants to hear you talk to yourself, bro. You're talking to
No
yourself.
idea who I am. You flat out came up to me and said, "Shut the F up." What did I do to you?
So shut up.
What did I do to you?
Bro, when no one's like to hear you speak.
Exactly. Then turn off your speakers. It's not that hard.
Push the talk, bro.
I don't need to
Do
do
this
that.
every fucking lobby.
I don't need to do that. Why don't you push to talk?
Everybody has to mute you because you can't shut the fuck up.
Yes, you can mute me. Go ahead.
Alright, mute it.
Good.
Okay, I do say a few things after that, but the way this escalated, I found it so interesting that he's just getting so pissed off at me because he refuses to mute me, which he finally did. He never actually did. He ended up coming back at me just so he could laugh. But I found it interesting how he said, do you do this every effing lobby? Everyone has to mute you just because you don't want a dude push to talk? No one else but him was complaining. Correct me if I was wrong. Did anyone else come in to join this? No, they didn't. If they did, he wouldn't have been the only one in this argument. In fact, if more than one person was in there, I would have said, I apologize to both of you. I shall use push to talk. No one else was complaining but him. I would love to hear if you observed anyone else talking. You can go back and watch this whole thing. I've got to recreate some things in it, but I'm going to leave the whole thing up there for all of your benefit. And I genuinely want to see how you guys feel about this. I definitely could have reacted differently. I didn't have to make a video about this, but I'm genuinely curious on how you're all going to react to my reaction to how Mr. Chrome should have reacted. And in the end, I should have just used push to talk. But there were multiple things that happened to me in this video that happened in result of not doing that, and this continued to escalate. However, every single point, I want to know if you felt I was wrong or right. This is not talking about at what point I should have just stopped. I should have stopped in the beginning. I should have pressed push to talk, period. But there are a few instances that I just pointed out in this video where I could have done something different. No, I'm not better than him. I was not being condescending. So in other words, the very first part was me saying, don't be offended over things better than you. I shouldn't have said that. But the other ones, I am simply pointing out a different way that I could have reacted to this, and I would want your feedback on how my critiquing is going. I think I did a pretty good job with this, especially at the end. No one else was complaining but him. So these are just some of the things that I had to deal with as a YouTuber. I want your genuine feedback. Let me know how this video went, and on top of that, do you agree with what I'm saying in this video? Mr. Chrome, out.